Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for this week's installment of Wine Wednesday. I'm joined today by Susan and Bob at Robin Hill Farm and Vineyards in Brandywine, Maryland, located on the Legacy Wine Trail in Prince George's County. We look very much forward to hearing what they have to say about their great wines. Just to give you a quick update, Maryland Wineries are still open for business. Even though things seem chaotic out there, Maryland Wineries are available for you to place your orders with them, whether that's for curbside pickup, direct-to-consumer shipping, or delivery. Your local wineries will have options for you. So please, if you have the opportunity to do so, show your support for Maryland Wineries and pick up some Maryland wine. And without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Susan and Bob from Robin Hill. How you guys doing?
Hi, folks. How you doing? Welcome to our tasting room. It's a little quiet today, but we're glad that you're here. So I'm Susan Watson-White, and this is my wonderful husband, Bob White. And we have been farming here since 1955. So my parents, they got married, they purchased the farm, and they started our family business back in 1955. And we started out as tobacco farmers, and then we added hogs into the picture. So we had 400 to 500 hogs on the property at a time. We also did agritourism. So we used to grow pumpkins and the kids would come here to take their educational farm tours. We did that from the late 1960s up until 2005. And we also had a 100-acre nursery where we used to grow shade and ornamental trees. And just a little side note here, if you've ever been to the National Harbor and enjoyed those beautiful cherry blossoms, a lot of those cherry trees came from this farm when we were Robin Hill Farm Nursery. So there you go. So remember us the next time you're down there. We have diversified throughout the years. And then in 2013, we decided to take another route. And the soil that was good for tobacco is also good for growing vines. So we decided to grow a vineyard. So we planted 5 acres of grapes, and we have 6 different varieties. Our 3 reds are Merlot, Cab Franc, and Chambourcin. And our 3 whites are Vidal Blanc, Chardonnay, and Chenin Blanc. And we took an old tobacco barn, because we've got a lot of barns on the property since we've been farming for so long. And we turned that old tobacco barn, which was built in the 1950s, into our production facility. So that's where all of our tanks, our bottling line are located. And we do everything here, by the way. We grow our grapes, we harvest, we produce, we bottle, and sell right here on the property. We put our tasting room on the side of this tobacco barn, and inside it's just gorgeous. It's got all of the barn wood. I wish you could see it. The tier poles from the barn. We have old tobacco displays and antique equipment in here. We have a wraparound porch that overlooks the vineyard. Beautiful overlooking the pasture. You can see the goats out there when you're enjoying your wine. So we do hope that you come visit us one day. Right now, our tasting room or our winery is offering 14 different wines. I wish I could go through every one of them with you. But I do want to tell you that each one of our wine labels does tell a story about the history of our farm. So what we wanted to do was when we were presenting the tasting, we wanted to tell the history of our farm. So not only do you get a tasting, but you also get a story. And so when Bob starts to do the tastings, I'm going to give you a little example of that. But we are part of the Legacy Wine Trail, as Jim was telling you earlier. We're located in southern Prince George's County, along with Romano Winery and Vineyards, Gemini Winery and Vineyards, and Jane Mark Winery and Vineyards. And we are located within a 9-mile radius. So literally the next wine or the winery from here is 1 mile, and then the next one is another mile, and then the next one is 8 miles. So this is a whole day trip. If you want to just get out for the day, come and just hop around to each one of these wineries. We're close. A lot of times we work together. We'll have a trail event. So just, keep an eye out in normal times, keep an eye out on our Facebook and our website for those events. And we love to have live music, food trucks, things like that. But I am going to let my husband speak here, I promise. He knows that I can talk all day long. But anyway, this is Bob White, my husband. And actually, we have our own little love story here in the wine industry. Bob and I met at a Maryland Grape Growers Association meeting. So we were there and somebody came up to them and they said, "Hey, Susan, I'd like you to introduce you to my friend. His name's Bob White." And I said, which is the call of the quail, which is a Bob White, in case you didn't know. I didn't realize that was going to be my mating call, but Bob and I ended up falling in love and getting married. And I'm gonna let Bob take it from here. So Bob's our winemaker, and he's going to tell you a little bit about his history and how long he's been making wine.
Well, hello, folks. Now that I get a chance to talk, thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
My wine history has been a passion. Started when I was actually a teenager. My dad brought home a little flyer that my aunt had that said how to make Concord wine. Since I'm a native New Yorker from upstate New York, Concords are pretty prevalent. You could make anything out of Concord grapes, pie, wine, juice. So he brought home this little flyer, and for some reason he just handed it to me and said, "You ought to make some wine," for whatever reason. So me and my buddy, we got together. I think we were about 15 at the time, and rounded up, some wild grapes, frost grapes as we call them, fox grapes, and we made some wine. Actually, I had to make a deal with my mother first because she used them to make jelly, and I wasn't going to use all her grapes, so I had to split them with her so she could make a jelly. Then I got to use all her baking yeast to make my wine. I mean, we're talking some crude stuff. But anyway, it has been a passion of mine since being a teenager. I went into the service. I did a military career and had a hobby all during that as a winemaker with a passion to one day have a vineyard and winery of my own. And as Susan said, one thing led to another. I've been growing grapes around the state of Maryland since the late 1990s and making wine before then. So what brought us together here at Robin Hill, finally all my passions came together of a vineyard, winery, and a wonderful wife. Oh,
that's right. And we say the vines brought us together, but the wine will keep us together.
All right, you guys are too adorable.
Oh, well, we're very in love, and I'm grateful to have such a wonderful husband.
And I'm grateful.
That's awesome. The story's great. I love the story there. I love the humor that you have about it. It's awesome. Susan, you mentioned something about the trees in Washington, D.C. That is amazing. What a cool legacy to have, and what a cool story to be able to share with people that most people probably don't know about the heritage of your family's farm. That's really cool.
Yeah, we'd love to go down to National Harbor and say hello to the blossoms from our cherry trees.
That's
so
really.
When you're down there, say hello to the blossoms.
Is that something that you talk about throughout this time of year? Is that something that is a story that you tell in the spring so people know, hey, if you really enjoyed that experience, come out to Robin Hill and enjoy the experience here?
Well, absolutely, of course. We've got actually right in front of the wraparound porch in front of our tasting room is a beautiful cherry, and the blossoms this year were so gorgeous. So we've got one of them right here, in front of the tasting room to help tell the story for us. That's so
cool. And you probably feel spoiled being able to keep that to yourself.
Yeah. Well, we like to share it. We wish everybody was here to see those blossoms this year. So, due to the COVID thing, we haven't had as many people here, but maybe next year we'll get to share it a little more. So.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully things will go back to a form of normal that we can all be okay with in the next couple of weeks or months. I know the governor is on right now, probably sharing some updates with everyone, so we'll all have to tune in after this.
Yeah.
Maryland wine is definitely an important thing today, so let's all stay here. Let's not all run to see what Governor Hogan's up to.
You can catch him on YouTube.
Yeah, right. He'll be all over the news tonight. There's plenty of opportunity. This is a once in a lifetime.
That's right.
So you said you have 14 different styles, and you kind of are those styles that rotate? Is that only a portion of the overall portfolio that Robin Hill has offered? How are you selecting those styles, and what does the brand look like?
Well, our brand is our right. We have our Robin Hill Farm and Vineyards trade name, followed with our logo up above with the robin on top of the grape cluster and leaves. And so together we are only operating under one brand right now, Robin Hill Farm and Vineyards. But we do have 14 wines available, 15. Just submitted the label this morning to TTB for our 15th wine that we're going to have available, which I'm super excited about. It's coming down the line. It's going to be called Vintage Blend. It's going to be a blend of Viognier from the Eastern Shore and our Chardonnay and our Chenin Blanc. So it's going to be a dry white wine. It's going to be our high-end white, and we're super excited about it. It's just the flavors are just incredible. That Viognier blended with the Chardonnay, those two are just a combination I wasn't expecting. So it's really going to be a very nice wine. Yeah.
So here we go. Here's our little wine tasting. So we're going to start off with Legacy. And our Legacy wine, first of all, I'm going to tell you a little history about the label, like I was telling you earlier. On the label is a picture of a pocket watch, and that represents our past. It's set to 4 o'clock because we have 4 generations still living and farming here today. The RHF stands for Robin Hill Farm, and there's a little 1955 here on the pocket watch, and that's the year that my parents got married and purchased the farm and started our family business. And it's connected to the key, which is the key to our future. So this is called Legacy. It's the legacy of our past and future here at Robin Hill Farm. And this is a crisp tropical style wine with notes of honeysuckle, pineapple, and mango. And this is going to pair well with your light fare, your cheeses, your fruits, a little grilled chicken, and some seafood like shrimp and lobster. So this is our Legacy. And this is one of our most awarded wines. Would you like to tell them about the awards, dear?
The awards, the top dog that it had received was the Atlantic Seaboard wine competition. It got best white wine, best Vidal Blanc on the East Coast, gold medal. We were just astounded by that result. It got third place in the New York City International competition, competing with 100 and some countries. It brought in a bronze medal up there. It's got numerous medals through the Governor's Cup and Comptroller's Cup, and out in Indiana at their international competition as well. So it's a heavy medal winner, and we're very pleased with it. And what makes this wine unique is, again, it was totally experimental. I took all the hard press wines from 3 different batches of Vidal that we had, and I kept all the hard press together. Used a free run for our other lighter Vidal blends, and just ran it through a malolactic fermentation. That you don't normally do with Vidal. People are like, "Why would you do that?" And I said, "Want a gold medal? Here, have some malolactic Vidal Blanc." And so it just has a nice, maybe about 0.5% of residual sugar. Not really sweet, but just enough to really bring out all those fruit characteristics. And it's just a wonderful wine, and we've been very fortunate with it.
So Legacy.
It's our Legacy.
That's right.
When I was poking around on the website a little bit earlier, it looks like for the wines that you're showing today, if anybody's interested in ordering these wines, they can call you guys and place an order over the phone and do curbside pickup there, correct?
Correct.
That's
yeah,
correct.
We're open right now 7 days a week from 10 to 6. You can call, place your order over the phone, pay over the phone. It's all contactless, no contact. And we'll bring it out to a pickup barrel out in the parking lot, and you can pick it up there. So give us a call, 301-643-5619. So now we're going to head into our second wine, and this is called MD32. And if you can see the label there, there's a hand-drawn picture of a tobacco plant. So our daughters, Britt and Sydney, have drawn a lot of these labels, and our whole family got together and designed them and wanted to tell the story of our history. So this is called MD32. It's a hand-drawn picture of a tobacco plant because, like I said before, we started out as tobacco farmers, And MD32 stands for Maryland Type 32, and that's the type of tobacco that we used to grow here on the farm. So this is our Chardonnay, and if you haven't heard of Chardonnay, this is a hybrid of Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc. It's another crisp tropical style wine, but it's got more of your nuances of lemon and citrus with a little pear and some floral aromas on the nose. And this is going to go well with your chicken, your pork dishes, and your seafoods like crab cakes and salmon. You have any more to add to that, dear?
The Chardonnay has come to be another workhorse grape here in Maryland. Along with the Vidal Blanc, as far as the whites go, it's disease resistant. It's thicker skinned. It does a lot better here in Southern Maryland than regular Chardonnay would. Chardonnay's got a very thin skin, and the heat and the humidity down here would pretty much dissolve it. The Chardonnay, through its breeding, really makes a very disease-resistant, very good grape to work with. It's the citrus notes. This is my go-to for oysters. If you're into oysters, this is the wine you want to have with your oysters right here. Anything you like a little bit of lemon with. This is a great wine to wash down some oysters or crab cake, as Susan said. And also, if you want to see our complete line of tastings, Susan did a video on our Facebook page where she will actually go through all 15 of or 14 of our wines, and you can get a detailed virtual tasting there.
Yeah, just go to our Facebook page, which is Robin Hill Farm and Vineyards, or our website, and click the events link. It'll take you right into a virtual tasting, and then you'll get to hear the stories behind all of the labels and the tastings and the pairings. So, and also we did a little line of videos called Wine Time with Farm Animals. So if you want to get entertained, check out Wine Time with Farm Animals. You'll see us drinking wine with, we started, chickens, ducks, geese, or goats, sheep. So
horse.
If you're and the horse and yeah. So if you want some entertainment, check us out there. All right, so we're going to head into our third wine here today. Thank you, dear. This is our sweet rosé, and this is a blend of Chambourcin and Vidal Blanc. It's a fun fruit-forward wine with notes of strawberries and cherries. And on the label, you're going to see the picture. I don't know if you can see it here, but there is a pig and a goat, and they're toasting. They're giving each other little cheers there. And we have the pig on there to represent the hog business, because I said before we had 400 to 500 head of hog on the property, and we used to sell them to SK. And then we also have a goat on the label because we raise goats. They are my favorite animal, and they're my pets, and they all have their own personality. So when you come here for a tasting, you can see the goats out there. They'll be your best friend. And we tried to give a cute name to this label. And at first we were saying, well, there's a pig and a goat on the label. Let's call it Pig Goat. And then we laughed about it. We said, no, wait. Let's give it a French pronunciation and call it Pigeot Blanc. So that's how it got its name. This is our Pigeot Blanc. And this is a very versatile wine. We like to call it our holiday wine because of the beautiful color. It looks great sitting on your table at Thanksgiving, Christmas, Valentine's Day. And this is going to pair well. You can start this out with your brunch, as a matter of fact. You pair it with your breakfast, your brunches, your cheeses, or you can take this right into lunch and dinner. It's going to pair great with barbecue. So this is our Pigeot Blanc.
Yes, and our Pigeot Blanc is Chambourcin and some Vidal. The Chambourcin is right at crush. We do a procedure that is called saunier, which is when you draw the juice off the free run off the crushed must right away. As it's dropping out of the crusher, I have a pump and a hose, and I'm drawing that juice right off. Since Chambourcin is a hybrid grape, you get a lot of red color in the juice, where with your vinifera reds, your juice is going to be clear. So that's why we try to get the juice off right away with the saunier method. And I still end up putting a little Vidal in it later to lighten it up because of the color. Because we wanted a light color. We wanted a blushy rosé color. So it gets a little Vidal to help lighten it. And when we were doing those experiments, mixing the Vidal with it really popped out that strawberry flavor of the Chambourcin, which really you don't know it's there until they mix up, and then boop, there we go. Sweeten it up a little bit to about 2.5% or so residual sugar. It's not overly sweet. It's got enough acid in it that it's a very refreshing wine. It's very cleansing on the palate. So it's really good with your cheeses and your greasier kind of food, salamis, pizza and hamburger. It's a great light food wine. But the acids cleanse the palate. It's very refreshing, and it's just another heavy metal winner for us too. Wherever we take our little pig, she brings back some trinkets for us. So we're happy with that.
So before we move on to the next wine, I really love that these labels are designed by your family. Everybody gets a chance to have a contribution. If it's not making the wine, it's putting something on the label that your customers are going to see and that people will recognize the family and the winery for having. What gave you the idea to do that?
Well, our whole family lives here on the property. This is the foundation of our family, and we're all here, and we love each other, and I am so blessed and grateful for my family. And my dad passed away unexpectedly in 2005, and that's where we, after that point in time, decided to diversify into the winery and the vineyard. And we really wanted to just pass on the legacy. Like we feel so grateful, and we wanted to talk about my parents, and which we do between the labels, and the legacy that they set for our family. So that's what we wanted to do. We just wanted to celebrate them and their life. And you'll hear in the other labels that we didn't talk about or won't talk about today, but there's one called Bliss, and that celebrates that they were married for over 50 years before my dad passed. And the next one you'll hear about Dad in particular, but in the vintage blend that Bob was telling you that we're about to release, that we just put the approval in today, or the application for approval, it's called Vintage Blend, and that's going to celebrate Mom and Dad as well. There's a picture. My dad used to collect antique vehicles, so on the picture or on the label is actually a drawing by our daughter Sydney, and it's from a picture of Mom and Dad. And Dad used to collect. He had an 1931. Ford Model A Ford, and that's on the picture or on the label. It's a Model A Ford with Mom and Dad in there. So yeah, it's just us trying to share our history with other people and passing down our legacy to the future generations.
That's really nice, and I also really liked all the symbolism in the brand. I think that's incredible. It takes a lot of thought, and it's like solving what was that movie, The Da Vinci Code? It's like solving one of those mysteries as you go through and you get to decipher what each piece is about.
Yeah. So this next wine we're going to talk about is actually named for my dad. And this is called Russell's Reserve. So my dad's name was Russell. So this was named in memory and honor of Dad. And Dad was an avid outdoorsman. Boy, did he love to hunt and fish. And whenever we had customers on the property or friends would stop by, he would stop what he was doing and he'd either take them fishing or hunting. So this is called Russell's Reserve, or it's called RHF, Russell's Reserve. And on here is pictured his fishing rod and his shotgun. And he used to love to hunt for geese and ducks and fish for rockfish. So cheers to Dad. And this is a blend. And this is 50% Merlot, 40% Cab Franc, and 10% Chambourcin. And this is my personal favorite. It has notes of smoky oak, clove, and black pepper. And this is your go-to grilling wine. This is going to go fabulous with steaks, barbecue, ribs, anything that's going to go and give you that. This is the smoky flavor is just going to complement that. So go ahead, Bob. You like to work with blends, and tell them why.
Blending is my favorite thing to do, especially with the reds. If we just made a straight Merlot, it should technically taste like every other straight Merlot on the shelf. By blending, we can make unique wines. We can make Robin Hill flavored wines. You're not going to get this blend anywhere else unless someone's using the same proportions that I do. The experimentation that went into the blends, come to find out that it was still a little bit light. That's why we put a little bit of Chambourcin in there. Chambourcin by itself makes a great wine, but as a blender, it really gives a lot of backbone and a lot of structure. It doesn't have a lot of Chambourcin in it, but it has enough in it to just give that little kick in the pants to set it apart from the others. Some folks are like, well, why do you mix a hybrid with two prominent vinifera? I said, sometimes vinifera needs a little kick in the pants. That's all there is to it. Gives it that little bit of extra body, a little more structure in the palate. And we don't do barrel fermentation. We don't do barrel aging. We do everything in stainless steel here. So sometimes it needs a little kick in the pants, per se. We add our oak with oak staves to our stainless steel tanks. That's how we achieve our oak flavors. I have real good control of my oak that way. With oak barrels, they degrade over time. They're expensive to start with. They degrade. They can get contaminated. They're a real hassle to clean and maintain and everything else. So we find the stainless steel works better as far as from maintenance. We probably don't get the micro-oxygenation, but that's why I do a little more racking. So it puts a little more oxygen in there when we do the racking, opposed to, leaving it sit still. So we do get our oxygen in there, and we get our oak, and I can add the same amount of oak every time, so I can maintain a consistent oak level, and it's not varying. So that's our Russells.
All right.
So you say you said you can control some micro-oxidation through racking. How does that work? So you normally would rack from like a fermenter into wherever you're going to store your finished product for a while, right?
Right. So during the aging process, every couple of months, I will take it out of one tank and just pump it into another tank, clean out the tank that's in there, any sediment that comes in, and then pump it back. And during that process, it through the natural movement of the wine, you're going to induce some oxygen into it. And so we just maintain our sanitation of the wine and move it back and forth and get that oxygen in there that it needs to help it mature. And that's how I do it.
Yeah, so as long as you're maintaining the sanitary guidelines of the winery, you should be good to just move it. It just becomes another time that you're handling the wine prior to packaging.
Right. Yeah, because normally when you do it in the barrels, you put it in the barrels and just leave it sit till you're ready to bottle, more or less. You never really clean out the barrels until you're done, and then the porosity of the oak lets your oxygen,
right,
and you get your aging and you get your evaporation, your angel share. So I'm not giving any to the angels, except for what gets spilled on the floor. Then they can have that. But the losses in the barrels, but that also concentrates a little bit. So there are pros and cons to both processes. But I'm happy with how it works here, and we're making some fairly decent wines out of it too.
So where is this? Is it picking up oxygen from somewhere in the line, or is it picking up from turbidity? How does that work?
Yeah, from the turbidity, and then when the tank pumps down, you get to the end,
it's pulling in what's behind it.
Then you just pump it into a tank, because I'm not gassing my tanks.
Got it.
Some people, they just use all nitrogen in their tanks, and that's to me more for white wines. I don't move my white wines as much. In fact, very little movement on the white wines, because I don't want oxygen in the white wines. So they get a very minimal amount of movement to not bring in the oxygen, which white wines oxidize, and then they start getting really dark yellow, or start to get to brown, or they'll turn on you later on in the bottle, where you really don't want things to go south on you after your customer has it. So I really minimize moving of the white wines, but the I have no problem moving the reds to get a little more oxygen in them.
Have you done any experiments to see if you can actually speed up the aging process with this?
The only thing that I've done, I've advanced to are a couple of flex tanks. They're called flex tank, and they are actually a food grade plastic tank designed for wine. So that will actually do the micro oxygenation through the plastic because it's permeable. And so I've got my first set of flex tanks with hopefully the 2019 Russell Reserve in them. So stand by. We'll let you know how that comes out.
That's right.
Awesome. Sorry for all the questions. That's just kind of fascinating stuff.
Hey, it's
that it is. So the next wine we're going to head into for our virtual tasting is called Home Sweet Home. Now this wine is actually flavored with real blackberries and chocolate. And on the label is a picture here, and you'll see, like I said, our daughters drew these labels. Sydney drew this one. It's a picture of her grandma's window with a blackberry pie on the counter and some chocolate. So Home Sweet Home, and that, of course, that's in honor of my mom, which is Sydney's grandma. And this is actually one of our best sellers. It's sweet. It's our dessert wine. We say that it's berry sweet, not sugary sweet. So it's not syrupy, but you can definitely taste those notes of blackberry and chocolate. It kind of tastes like the old Tootsie Pop lollipop there. So this has been a great medal winner for us as well. This one, best in class for dessert wines in the Comptroller's Cup, the first year out. And it's also won many awards since then, but we were very excited about this one as well. So go ahead and expound upon that one, dear.
So our Home Sweet Home is a Chambourcin-based wine. And again, it was just more experimentation. And I just didn't want we wanted a dessert wine. We got a lot of requests for a sweet red. I just didn't want to take Chambourcin and dump a bunch of sugar in it and say, here's your dessert wine. Needed something a little more sophisticated and that, a little more interesting. So we started playing with flavoring, some natural fruit flavorings, some concentrates, and found that the blackberry and the Chambourcin really went well together. And then needed something else. It was just something missing. So we started playing with some chocolate, and found just the right amount of chocolate to put in there to enhance it, not take over. Some of your chocolate wines, you take them and they're just chocolate. Like, well, what happened to the wine? I'm drinking, Hershey syrup here. But so we have a nice balance of the chocolate, the blackberry, and the Chambourcin, and voila, this flies off the shelf. We can't believe how popular it is, and it's great on your cheesecake and let your pound cake. Let a piece of pound cake, just suck it up, or pour it over your ice cream and whatever.
That's right. Or it goes great by itself. Just sip that baby down. Just for your dessert.
Yes,
you don't even need the cheesecake, but it does go really well with cheesecake.
Yes.
So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So tell us about what people tend to experience when they're at Robin Hill as visitors to the farm and to the vineyard and the winery. What normally could they do? I mean, obviously come in and do tastings and things like that, visit with the animals, it sounds like. Wine clubs, what options are there for consumers, and how can they become more involved and more engaged with what you guys are doing there?
Right. Well, first of all, we are a family business, family owned, family operated, and we love to treat people like family. I mean, we love people. And right now I am a hugger, and I just want to hug everybody out there. I miss hugging people. If you come in this winery, by golly, I will give you a hug. But anyway, during this whole distancing thing, the only person I can hug is my honey here. anyway, but we love to treat you like family. And any time behind the counter, you're going to see my mom, my sisters, my brothers, my nieces, my nephews, cousins, neighbors, whatever. We are a family business. And I think that you'll pick up on that because we love to interact and we love to go around and meet people. We'll come to your table. We'll start chatting because we're naturally chatty people. I'm sure you could see that already. I know, right? But anyway, we love to treat you like family. And the property is gorgeous because we've been farming since 1955. There's beautiful red barns everywhere, rolling pastures. We keep the place immaculate. And it's just beautiful. So if you just need a time to get away, you need some peace and quiet, you come here and you can enjoy the beautiful settings. You can go look at the goats and the sheep and the geese. They're right out here in front of the wraparound porch. You can overlook the vineyard. It's a nice getaway. It really is. People tell us, that they like to come here and just escape for a while. And we do like to have like food trucks. We do sell local Amish cheeses and salami sticks in our tasting room and crackers. So at any time you can get that. But we love to have local food trucks in here as well. And when the weather's good, we have music outside and we have a gazebo out. So when you're sitting on the front porch, you can look down over the music. We have another deck that we just built. It's gorgeous. We can't wait to share it with you. And so yeah, it's we're just excited. We're so excited to have someone back here. I can't wait. I don't know what our new normal is going to be, but whatever it is, I hope you come back and share it with us.
It sounds like you guys are ready to make the most of that.
We are. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, social distancing, that may be our normal for a while, but you know what? That's okay because we have so much land. We have picnic tables in the lawn. We've got decks. We're hoping that someday that when the restrictions, ease up a little bit, that we're going to be able to welcome the public to come out and buy, who knows, it might be still carry out sales then. But if you do, at least you can go out and sit at a picnic table and just, get some healthy country fresh air and enjoy those beautiful views and, see our goats. And hopefully we're going to put a smile on your face. And of course, because of the wines, because my wonderful husband is a beautiful winemaker, and I mean,
she needs to hug somebody.
Better not find a way to go anywhere, man.
Is anybody out there just needing a hug? Please, just give me a virtual hug.
Please, I think everybody out here is in need of a hug.
Here, a hug for you, Jim.
Thank you. So I'm looking around on the website, and you focus on the barn weddings and things like that. It sounds like you don't want this story of kind of the family and being part of the family to end with just you and yours. It sounds like you extend your family circle to the people that you care about, your neighbors, friends that are working with you. And it sounds like you want people who are spending their time and their money with you to be a part of that family also.
Absolutely. I mean, I failed to mention the part that we have the whole wedding venue here, but we have an old barn that we turned into a wedding venue. It's got a chandelier and bistro lights. It's beautiful. Normally, we have weddings from April to November. And honestly, I treat each wedding like I have my own child getting married each weekend. And I love my couples. We bond and I just get so close with them, and usually pretty much each weekend I kind of get a little emotional when they get married because I just adore them. And right now, because of the COVID situation, you can't have the large gatherings. So we haven't had weddings in April and May. And well, we're looking forward to see what's going to happen for the future. But we just love it. I mean, honestly, like if you walk out on the porch on a day when we're open, you'll see my brother Rusty. By golly, he is out there and he's talking to everybody. Like he loves being up here. Our whole family, like I said, we just love people, and we'll walk around and we want to meet you. So we hope just to come by and be a part of our family.
I think that's awesome. Sorry, I'm looking through some of the comments here. We've got a lot of folks who are really excited to get back to getting out and visiting wineries. Trina said that she misses hugs. Hopefully when she comes out, she can take you up on that offer there, Susan.
That one's for you, Trina.
And they were very upset that they missed you at the end of Maryland Wine Month because they had you scheduled as one of their visits, and then the whole world went crazy. So we find ourselves in a very odd time right now. And I think that the folks that are tagging along with us on these Wednesday tastings are really sharing a lot about how much they appreciate the wineries here in the state, how much they appreciate the business that all of you as winery operators and owners and winemakers are doing. And I think that all of you have done an excellent job of letting the consumer know how much we really care for them and appreciate their support in these tough times.
Definitely appreciate them. And then we tried something new last week. We brought in another local a food truck, Smoky Oak food truck. We brought them in last weekend, and we set it up so it was a drive-through. So you could purchase or you could place your wine order. You drive up. Of course, we were social distancing. We all had our masks on, and you could place your order, pay over the phone while we're standing at least 6 feet from your car, and we would go get your wine and bring it out, and then you would go up and drive to the Smoky Oak barbecue truck, place your order, and then you would park in a parking spot, and they would bring out your food to their truck. And we're actually going to do that again this weekend for Mother's Day. So on Sunday, we're having Calvert Crab's Seafood Truck, and they're going to be selling crab cake dinners and seafood, what was it? Seafood nachos? I can't remember. Anyway, they have a beautiful menu. So if you want to come out on Mother's Day to take a ride in the country to pick up wine and food to go.
Essential items.
Essential items, by golly, wine and crab cakes. I mean, I'm just saying, here, you're going to get those crab cakes, pick up the MD32 while you're here. And then, you can obviously take it home with you and eat. But we're trying to provide, more than one thing here with the food and the wines, kind of one-stop shopping. And then I realize that you need to stay home, but if you just need to get out to take that ride to get here, it's a beautiful ride in the country. I mean, if you're coming down Croom Road, it's gorgeous. You're seeing, the beautiful trees. It's a tunnel-like thing, and you're seeing the countryside. And when you pull up our driveway, you're seeing all of the vineyard on the left-hand side, or the right-hand, whatever it is, left-hand side.
Which is green.
Yes, and our vineyard has just leafed out. And so you're going to see a little bit of foliage. And then on your right side, you're going to see our goats, prancing around in the pasture. And then you would pull up in front of our winery, and you would place your wine and your food order. And, it's a way to follow the rules. You're social distancing. You're staying in your car, of course. But it does let you get out, get a little fresh air, a little new scenery, food, wine, and then, you go home for that. And then we also have a promotion. We have these wine bottle candles, and we have a sparkling wine too. I mean, I wish I could go through all 14 wines, which I might slip in here in a second, but we have our Giddyup Bubbly. So for our Mother's Day promotion, you can buy our sparkling wine. There it is, which is our Giddyup Bubbly. This is made in the Methode Champenois style, where we do the second fermentation in the bottle. And it's got a picture of a horse head because, of course, we always have horses here on the farm. And it's made out of little bubbles. I'm not sure if you can see that there. But for our Mother's Day promotion, you can have a bottle of the bubbly. You can buy a wine bottle candle, and we put it in a nice 4-carrier red tote bag with the tissue paper so that you have a gift for your mom for Mother's Day. So, hey, if you want to, get some kudos in there and be that number one child, come on by and place your order. And macarons. So just check out our Facebook page or our website, and you can check that out. But that's what we're trying to do. You got to be creative in these times. We're trying to, what's the word? Cope? I don't know. Get through these times. If you could support a local business, that would be wonderful. We try to support our local businesses. Yesterday we went to our local cafe for Hardesty Haven. We picked up some carryout. If you could just go to your local winery, if you got a winery in your backyard, or if you want to take a drive, we would so appreciate your support during these times, buying a bottle of wine. So we really thank you. And we thank those that came out. Last Saturday was great. And we thank you, for making that extra step to actually drive down here in the country to buy some of our wine. And by golly, we missed you. It was so good to like talk to people in their cars. I mean, I know they were at least 10 feet away, but I'm telling you, it was like, hi, I'm Susan. Welcome to Robin Hill. You know, how are you doing? Are you staying sane? Here's some wine. So, you know, we feel for you. We know that you're on this lockdown here together with us. So, you know, wine doesn't hurt.
It's kind of nice when you realize people still do exist out there that aren't the ones that you know. Just getting to see the variety of people that there are, and seeing new people and interacting with people you haven't seen in a while, even if it is from 10 feet away or screaming at each other through a car window, is still, there's something very comforting about that, to know that despite all this craziness and the stuff that we don't individually have control over, there's still a bond, and that's great.
That's right. It was so cute the other day. This couple drove up, and they had placed their order over the phone, and I was bringing it out, and I sat it on the pickup barrel, and I, you know, backed up, and I still had my mask on or whatever, and I started talking to the lady, you know, through the window from a distance. And we just started chatting, and we were chatting and chatting and chatting, and we were really enjoying each other's conversation. And her husband goes, honey, you need to let this lady go. She's she's busy. And I said, are you kidding me? I'm loving the contact with the outside world. She's like, yeah, honey. And we chatted for another 5 minutes, and I didn't know this lady from Adam. And just, you know, we had a 5-minute conversation, you know, 10 feet away. And at that time, I felt like she was my best friend. And I miss that, honestly. It makes me emotional. Doesn't
well,
it?
I think it's, I don't think you're the only one who's emotional about the excitement of getting to see other people and have that fulfillment. It's something that everybody's looking forward to with bated breath, I think.
You're right.
So
celebration.
That's it. And what I keep hearing from everyone as we do these talks is we're going to have such a fun time when you come here after we can all get back together.
I'm saying I'm going to be popping a bottle of this bubbly.
I don't know if those of you watching can tell, but Susan and Bob are fun people, and I think you will have a really good time if you go and hang out with them after all this craziness is over.
Please come hang out with us.
So what else do you want people to know? I've got the phone number. It popped up in the video. You shared it once earlier. Do you want to share that phone number again so people know how to order wine from you?
That's right. You call me at 301-643-5619. I will pick up this phone and I will place your order. You can pay over the phone, and we have you pull right up in front of the tasting room, and there's a barrel out there. That's our pickup barrel. And we place the wine there, and then we walk away from it for you to pick it up. So everything is a no contact transaction. Although I'm going to be 20 feet away and I'm going to be talking to you.
And your voice will carry all 20 feet, I'm sure.
Oh, can you tell my voice carries? I mean, I know I'm a loud person, but I'm just so excited. It's fun to be here with you, Jim, and to be able to share our story, at least virtually, with the people that are out there listening. So thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate your time. It's cool to hear kind of the different perspectives, especially when you're talking about family being such an important and integral part of your business. We hear that from a lot of these wineries in Maryland, and I don't know that a lot of people realize that we're looking at several generations of family that have either come to the conclusion that through their previous agricultural work on a farm, this endeavor to follow making wine or pursue making wine makes a lot of sense. Or you have folks that are, we think back about the Bordy family, and we think back at the family at Linganore. Mm-hmm. And when we think about the families behind those wineries, these are generations of people who have brought winemaking into their family and passed it down. And it's just a really great story to tell. And it's nice to visit with all of you guys and hear your stories about your families and how everybody's enthusiastic and into it. So it makes me very happy to hear that.
Well, thank you. We love sharing our story. And like I said, come by and visit us, and we'll treat you like family too, because we miss you.
Well, thanks again. I really appreciate having you on. For all of you who are watching, thank you for joining us this Wednesday afternoon. I know it wasn't the most beautiful Wednesday we've had in the last couple of weeks, but it's a Wednesday, and we're one more day closer to getting out of this period of isolation, I suppose.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers to that. Please, this weekend, reach out to your favorite local Maryland wineries, order some Maryland wine, support Maryland wineries where you can, and make sure you get your mother a wonderful bottle of wine for Mother's Day. I would highly recommend that you also try to support local restaurants and food establishments if you're able to. They do a lot to support our industry. We'd like to make sure that as many of them are open and operating on the other side of this whole thing as possible. And if you have any more questions about what's going on with Maryland wine, visit us at marylandwine.com. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye-bye, all.